Hey, Dee. How nice to see you. All right. Now, on our reference photo, if you were to put the rule of thirds line, you would see that the edge of the bowl lines up pretty well with the first rule of thirds line, and the second intersects the wedges of the um, cut pumpkin pretty well. So there's a nice repetition on those lines. Now, there are no real focal points that line up well, so that's going to be up to us to make those focal points. So in terms of the color, we're going to be using a lot of orange and some blue. So I'm going to move us over to the easel and we will do our palette on the easel and I'll show you what colors we have there. But I have not pre-sketched or anything like that. Hey, Karen. So don't worry if you are in the midst of coming in right now. We're just about to go over our palette. So let's go to the easel. Okay, so we're working on a pretty limited palette tonight. It's mostly oranges and blues. I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody. Again, when I mute you, it's just so you can hear me better. Please feel free to unmute at any time and ask questions. So I'm going to start off with my darkest dark. This is a very dark blue. So it's like an indigo blue, very dark blue. This is a 5 value. I'm going to be using it for some of the background color. The next darkest dark is a dark gray hard pastel. And this hard pastel will help me get some of the small details like the stems on the apples. If you have a pastel pencil, you're welcome to use that instead. Use whatever is comfortable for you to get a small line. The next pastel, I think I had a hard time deciding between these two. I set them both out just in case. These are hard pastels. They're Carb Othello. They're about the same color. It's a dark chocolate brown. So you're looking for a dark chocolate brown. And this pastel is mainly to help us get the found edge of that ceramic vessel. So it's a dark chocolate brown. The other one is close enough to the same color. Now the fours are where we start to see some change in color. I'm going to start off with pure blue. So this is a beautiful, intense blue. I have no idea where I'm going to use this. I'm probably going to put a little bit of it. I think I put some in the green liquid in the vase on the right and possibly the hydrangeas on the left. But we need a shot. Whenever you have a shot of pure orange, you want to have a shot of pure blue to create the energy of the complement. I try never to have too much of an intense color without having its complement somewhere. The next four is a shadow color for the apples. It's it's an orangish red. So it's like a shady orange red, or maybe a reddish violet. Let me hold it up close. Next color is a burnt orange. It's a beautiful, deep pumpkin color. This is the dark color on the pumpkin slices. This particular one is a hard pastel, and it's to help me get some of those sharp angles. I also have an orange that's a soft pastel. This is a unison color, and it's for the flesh, the lighter flesh color of the pumpkin. So those two colors, just so you see, one's a little darker, one's a little more pure orange. Okay, now we're moving to the threes. The first three is a light orange, so it's one step lighter than the three we just used. So to compare those two, you can see this one is the four, this is the three. We need the lighter orange for some of the light highlights on the pumpkin wedge, also the edge of the bowl. The next three is yellow ochre, or actually it's more of a yellow green. So this is a neutralized yellow. It's a yellow that reads cooler because it has more green in it than a yellow orange. So here's the difference between the two. This yellow has a little more orange to it. It's like a school bus yellow. This is more of a yellow green, a little cooler. We're going to use it on some of those green apples to get that green uh, color on them. Moving to the twos, we're also going to use the school bus yellow. And the school bus yellow, same reason we're using it for the color of the squash and these apples. It's a warm color for those apples. Okay. Now for the one neutral, real neutral, we're going to use this. This color is like a taupe color, maybe an olive color. It's about a 2 value. And I'm going to use it for that water in conjunction with some other colors. It's also a good color for the hydrangeas. Then the last color on the twos is a very light orange. So we have 3 values of orange. This is the dark, this is the medium, this is the light. So it's your lightest value of orange. And we're using it as a highlight on the pumpkin, the cut pumpkin, on the seeds and such, possibly on the ceramic vessel as well. So it's a very light highlight color. All right, and then the last on the number ones is pure white. Pure white, this is a warm white, and it's our highlight color for the highlights on the apples and such. Now, just to go through those colors again, because we had a couple of people in the waiting room. So I'm going to quickly go through those colors one more time for your benefit, starting with our 5. We had dark blue, dark blue, that's our darkest dark. Then a hard pastel in dark gray, or even black if you prefer. A hard pastel in brown, blue. This is pure blue. It's pretty intense. Got number 4. This is a reddish orange color. A burnt orange color. And a true orange color. One step lighter. This would be about a 2 value orange. A yellow green. And a pure yellow. And then this is a neutral. It's a taupe or a beige color. The last of the twos is a light orange, and this is almost like a skin tone, very light orange. We have 3 different values of orange, and then pure white. So once you have the VIP seating all squared away, give me a thumbs up so I know all the people who are coming in are caught up. And thank you, Karen. Hi, Ron. How nice to see you. Hi, Vivian. Thank you. Jackie. Yay. Hi, Pat. Okay, good. Got it. Terrific. So it looks like everybody has their pastels set out there, ready to rock and roll. So we're going to start by sketching, and I'm going to sketch very loose and blocky. I'm using one of the pastels, the orange from the series, and I'm starting off by putting rule of thirds lines very lightly on the surface. This is just to help me figure out where these things are going to go. Obviously, these rule of thirds lines are not perfect, not measuring them. They're way off, but gives you an idea. So I'm going to start by putting in that crinkly edge of the ceramic vessel. Now, this is a little different than the subtractive method we've been using. We're not doing any kind of toning. I'm working on a surface I just took a drawing off of, but it isn't toned. Now, if you feel more comfortable, you can cite as we go. Citing would be gauging a measurement and comparing it to the other objects. So if I were citing this apple and comparing it to the other apples, I would see that this apple is almost a perfect round circle. It comes from the center, it's just past the center point, and it goes up in rounded shape, but you don't see the whole shape of it. The top part is flattened, and there's a little indentation where the stem is. So I'm getting just the big shapes of these in place before I start sketching or painting. Once you have that apple in place, it makes it a lot easier to get the other apples. So it's like that first puzzle piece. Once that first puzzle piece is down, you can figure out how the other ones fit into it. Sketching all the other apples in relation to that first apple. I'm also going to simplify. There's a few other things on this still life that aren't that important. I'm not going to include them in the background. The vase that's on the side, if you don't want to include that, please feel free. simplify. You don't have to put every single thing on the still life. The pumpkin wedges are important, so take your time with those. Notice that there's one that starts with a beautiful rounded shape and overlaps the vase. Pay attention to the edges on this. It's a wedge shape. Now on those wedge shapes, pay attention to where the center part, the pulpy, seeded part of those pumpkins intersects the other wedge, and that'll help you get the perspective correct. All right, I'm going to skip drawing the hydrangea. There's nothing I need to put in for that. All right, when you are through sketching and you're ready to start painting, give me a thumbs up. Thanks, Ron. Thanks, Ted. Thanks, Ted. Thanks, Ted. Jackie. Dr. Jackie. Hi, BJ. Okay, nice to see
Sorry I was late.
you. Awesome. All right, lovely people. Now we're going to work methodically from dark to light. I know it feels a little awkward since we've been doing subtractive for the past few weeks. We're not doing subtractive here, but we are going to use the dark to help shape the lights. So I'm starting off with the darkest dark. This is the very dark blue. The dark blue is going to be a mostly background color. I'm going to put it right up behind the apples and the squash that are in the bowl. Even though I'm working on a dark paper, I always cover the entire surface with pastel so that I have something to blend into. Now I'm stopping right there, and underneath that edge of the bowl, I'm going to switch to the dark brown, and I'm putting some dark brown in there as well. This is going to warm up the foreground and have a warm dark that goes up against some of the cool or some of the brighter colors. So I am still bringing some of the dark blue down, but I'm also using some of the warm brown. I'm using the warm brown and the dark blue in the cast shadows underneath the wedges as well. Once you get the dark background put in and some of the cast shadows in the foreground with the dark blue and the brown, don't forget some of the cast shadows inside the bowl. So between the apple and the bowl, there is a dark cast shadow. I made that with the dark blue. You may need to go even darker. That needs to be a strong dark. In between the apples, there's also some cast shadows. So go between them with a strong dark. I'm using the dark blue along with the dark gray hard pastel to make those lines. If your dark isn't dark enough, feel free to juice it up. You can use a little black. I'm using some charcoal on top of my dark. I want it to be very bold and dark. So just like in subtractive painting, in order for the lights to show up, we've got to have something really intensely dark to go against it. I'm going to go ahead and put some of that charcoal over most of the cast shadows. I'm not really getting the intense dark I wanted without it. So if you're having that problem too, don't be afraid to use a little black for this. It's more important to have the value. We can adjust the color later as long as we have a dark value underneath it. It feels good to get some color down on the page, doesn't it? Just that pastel around. All right, so while you're getting caught up, let's pay attention to the lost and found edges. Now, notice the bowl, the edge of the bowl that has the crisp highlight on it, and where the apples touch the bowl, that's the found edge. So what's underneath is the lost edge. So I'm taking one finger and I'm making sure that I'm blending the dark so that you don't see where that bowl begins and where the pumpkin ends. That's a lost edge. Underneath the pumpkin, same concept. You want to get most of those cast shadows on lost edges. The wedge of the pumpkin itself is a found edge. So I want it to be sharp against the dark of the lost edge on the cast shadow on the bottom. There are some darks, very intense darks in the vase, but they're all lost edges. The only found edge is the dark of the stem, which will add some of those stems in when we put the color of the water in. Inside the bowl, we want to make sure that there is a strong cast shadow between the apple and the edge of the bowl. It's got a hard edge right up against the bowl and then a soft edge against the apple. So I'm blending the edge, touching the apple. All right, the stems on the apples, they're also lost and found edges. So the stem itself is a hard, dark shape and edge. Where it goes inside the apple, there may be a hard edge of light, but then there's a lost shadow, a lost edge in the shadow inside the apple. All right, last bit around the seeds, there's some dark shadows. You can use either the dark brown or the black to make those shadows. Okay, deep breath. Woo. We made it through all the highs. We got all those darkest darks in place. Now, at this point, you're beginning to see some of the play of light and dark. Also the big shapes. You can tell where the apples are going, the shape of the wedges, and so forth. We have not addressed the hydrangea at all, or the vessel, the base on the one side. Next color we're going to use, we're starting on the fours, is blue. This is the really intense, beautiful blue. I'm going to start off on the hydrangeas and make small rounded movements. I'm clumping these shapes together and leaving some space between them. They should look like doodles, not much more. Rounded shapes. We're going to be putting several layers on. This is just the first layer. I also put some side strokes on the table. And a little in the bottom of the vase all the way to the right. Okay, now we have some beautiful blue in there. I'm starting off with the reddish orange color. This isn't the burlap orange. It's more of the color that we're going to be using for the center of this apple. I'm blocking in the big shape of that apple. And I noticed immediately that it needs some darker color on the side. So I'm going to pull in some brown. It is hard to paint a red apple brown. I know that's a challenge, but red doesn't go well with an orange blue palette. So I'm using a variation that's a red or orange, and I'm seasoning it with a little brown. I'm going to put this color in a few other places too. Right now, I'm creating the shape of that apple. This is the one in front.
What colors are you using, John?
This is like an orangish red color.
Okay.
You can use the hard brown pastel on the outside to give some form to it if you don't have the shape of it already. Make your strokes follow the shape of the apple too. They go inward for that little tunnel by the stem. They start there and radiate outward, and that'll help give you the rounded shape on that apple. Uh, that same color is the color on the side of the patty pan squash. I'm using it over there too. It isn't exactly the same color, but it's close enough, and I want to create color harmony. So I'm going to pull it in there. I'm also going to reflect it in the brown. Okay, when you're through with the apples, bring that color down into the pumpkin. Now, it isn't all over on the pumpkins, but it is on the shadowy side facing away from the light on the pumpkin. So I'm putting it on the upper left part of the pumpkin and the upper right, upper left on the right side piece of pumpkin too. Is that confusing? All right. We're going to build up those intense oranges in layers. So don't be scared to put red down as the first layer. It's not going to be the last layer. Remember in pastel, the last layer you put down is the first layer that hits your eye. So whatever you're putting down now is going to be covered by a few other layers, and only some of it will be seen. The next color I'm using is a burnt orange, and we're still on the fours. We're working our way down. This is the one right after the reddish orange. So the burnt orange is a little deeper orange, and I'm going to use it overlapping that red and on the dark parts of the pumpkin wedges facing out. When you're applying it, scumble it directly on top of that red that you already put down. Overlap it and bear down with the side of the pastel. You're not blending this with your finger. You're pushing with the stick, and that's what's blending it. The stick will put a lot of pigment down, push it into the piece of the paper. On the apples inside the glass, I'm going to put some of this color right on the base of that red apple looking towards us. And put some on the yellow apple beside it. And the patty pan squash is the shadow color between the lobes. Last test, putting a little bit on the table underneath the object. All right, last color before we take a look is the pure orange. This is the last one on our 3-line pure orange. And I'm going to start off on these wedges of pumpkin. In the places where the light is hitting, I'm going to be putting a highlight on this orange. And I'm working it around and through, around the seeds. Put a little bit where the flesh meets the rind on that pumpkin too. All right, so carry that light orange all the way through in the places where you see that the pumpkin wedges are a little bit lighter. We're going to go one step lighter with the yellow when we come back from the break. But for now, this is going to give some shape to those wedges. Bring a little bit of the orange in between the seeds too. All right. So the edge of the vessel, the ceramic vessel, the bowl, I also want to incorporate a little bit of that fading orange color right along that hard edge. Okay, at this point, this is about the halfway point. So when you reach this point, give me a little wave. Let's check perspective and color before we move on. Okay, Pat, you'll be first. Don't forget to unmute. Pat, I am already loving this.
Unmute. Okay, can you hear me?
Uh-huh, perfect.
Okay.
Pat, your color, look at how intense that color is. It's like the glow from the pumpkins is illuminating the apples. I love that. I don't see any problems. Just be careful with that, with the flower head together. Make sure that you don't make it look too much like a pattern.
The
The same
which,
is true of
which
pumpkins.
part?
The hydrangea,
Hydrangea. Thank you.
yeah, and the pumpkin seeds, don't let them become a pattern.
Okay. All right.
Very nice. Beautiful, my friend.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. And who else is ready? Ron. Hey, Ron. You're muted. Don't forget to unmute.
Okay, I have to use the computer, I guess, today. Can you
Okay.
see?
So you're in your new studio. Congratulations.
It's been a trial, I have to say. Everything is with
I
me
bet.
lately.
I bet. Lower the camera just a touch so we can see the pumpkin. Oh, I love those pumpkin wedges. You've got a really nice perspective on the pumpkin wedges. Be careful on the base and don't put in more than you see.
Okay.
And the hydrangeas, don't let it become a pattern.
Okay.
So
right.
nothing else needs to change, my friend. It looks good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, my pleasure. All right, who else is ready? Karen. Oh, wow. Karen, the shape on the pumpkins looks good. The apples look good. Squash looks good. Not seeing any problems. Love it. So far, so good. Doesn't it feel good when it's going your way?
Yes, thank you.
All right, and who else is ready? Oh, VJ, you look like you're ready. Make sure you unmute. Hi, VJ.
Hey,
Okay, VJ,
not,
that one apple is already popping and we haven't even started putting detail in on it.
well,
I
I
like,
wasn't happy with my oranges, so I was trying to
okay.
make it look
I,
more,
I like
yeah.
the vase. I like the cut up pumpkin. Be careful with the hydrangeas. Very patterny.
I had no idea it was even a hydrangea, so thank you.
That's it. Shapes are good.
Okay. Oh, okay. Thank
Sean?
you.
Sean,
Yes, yes.
this is Paulette. I have to leave,
Okay.
so I'll get the recording and finish off.
All right. I'd love to see what you do. You
Okay,
take care.
thanks.
Bye. All right. Who else is ready?
Okay.
Jackie.
Hey there.
Hey.
Oops.
Hey.
Okay.
Jackie, you're getting a downright professional studio in there with blinds and lights and everything.
I got a new lamp because I couldn't see my colors last time. So, hey, because it's dark now,
Yeah, yeah.
but I'm still having, okay, I'm having big trouble with my oranges. So,
Okay.
am I supposed to blend this? Is the
No, no.
blacks coming through? See?
That's
Okay.
okay. You'll get an opportunity to blend. I have black coming through on mine too. Don't blend. Let let it be built up by layers first.
I was trying, but we were allowed to blend this, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's
Okay.
not that you're not allowed to blend. It's more like blending is a tool, and you want to use it where you want to knock the color back and knock an edge back and make it look lost and muted and misty. So the places where you want the color to be sharp and pure and clean, try not to touch them because it breaks the platelets of color.
Okay. Keep trying. Anyway,
Okay. I love everything else. The shapes look spot on.
thank you.
Good job. Uh, Vivian, you look like you're ready. Hey, Vivian.
Wow.
Oh, wow. I love it. You know, the color of the paper works so well with those apples. It's funny.
It's
Uh,
weird. It's green. I know. It's green.
yeah.
Oh,
And the wedges of the pumpkin are spot on. Great
Oh,
perspective. Really
right.
great
Thank you.
yeah.
perspective. Okay. I
All
have
right.
no problems with it. The hydrangeas, you may want to get a little bit bigger with the shapes, but for
Okay.
now, leave it be and we'll see what happens with it.
Okay. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful lost edges on that bowl.
Thanks.
Jean, are you ready, Jean? I'll put you in the spotlight. Hi, Jean. Oh, wow.
Never get the light in here to work right, but that's the,
So, Jean, you already have a really nice sense of light hitting that still life. The the apples are illuminated nicely. The tops on the pumpkin are illuminated nicely. Beautiful. No problem with it. That bowl is beautiful too. It's
Yeah.
got a nice rounded form.
Yeah. I agree.
I can't seem to, I feel like it's not right on one edge, so the side of it isn't like this side. The bowl edge doesn't seem to be right, but work on it.
Well, you shouldn't be able to see the edge on that side.
Oh, okay, so the hydrangea should be in front of it.
Exactly. It's a lost edge. So
Yeah.
don't worry about getting an edge there. Okay.
All right, thank you.
All right. You're most welcome. Beautiful work. All right, Sue, I think you're just listening in, but if you are painting and you want us to take a look, feel free to turn on the camera and show us what's what.
No, I'm still listening. Thank you.
Okay, no problem, sweetie. Good to see you. All right, lovely people, I'm going to give you a minute to make any changes you want to make before we move to the next values, which will be the twos. Okay, so we made it through our fives and our fours, and of course we didn't do our threes, so we're moving to the threes. The threes will be okay. Threes and the twos and then the one. All right, so I think we left off right here, right in the middle of the threes, right before the twos. During the break, I went ahead and added a little more brown to the outside of the wedges of the pumpkins just to make them look darker. Now I'm starting off with the light orange. Light orange is the next one in line here. So this is a 3-value orange. And for this light orange, I'm reasserting the edge on the pumpkin and some of the shapes on the seeds. I know those seeds look beige on top, but the ones that are facing the side are more of an orange color.
I'm sorry, what color are you using again? It's lighter?
It's orange, yeah, it's the lighter version of orange. So this one is about a 3-value. We have a super light version, which I'm not using. This one is the 3-value orange. So I'm putting it on the top part of the cut pumpkin. I'm going to use it on the patty pan squash and the apples inside the bowl as well. All right, let's move to the yellow-green color. And that yellow-green color I'm using on the outside of the patty pan squash. I'm using it to mix on top of some of the other colors. reflect a little bit of it in the vase. I'm going to work this color around on a lot of the apples. So the apples are a study in lost and found edges. Notice how one apple, the dark edge of it will show off the light edge of the apple in front of it. We use the edges of the apples to help you to describe the forms. Extra credit if you put a little bit of that yellow green into the hydrangea. And when you're finished with the yellow green, then move to the school bus yellow. It's a bright, intense yellow. It's going to go on the patty pan squash and on the apples mainly. We'll use it as a highlight on the pumpkin. All right, I'm putting a little bit of that school bus yellow on each apple and following the shape. I see it on the peel, so it helps me to describe the form. Make your strokes follow the shape of the form. You're always asserting the shape of that form. All right, finally, let's use that school bus yellow as a highlight color on the pumpkin. So I'm starting where the light is hitting the pumpkin on the top. I'm going to bring it around and highlight the golden flesh in the top part of the pumpkin. Use that yellow to help separate the first slice of pumpkin from the second. All right. So we've worked that yellow around and through, and it's highlighting a lot of the edges of the apples. The next color is the neutral color or taupe color. This color is from the vase, the lightest part of the vase. It's also a good hydrangea color, so we're going to pull it in. I know it's counterintuitive, but it's a dried hydrangea arrangement. So we have some blue. That blue will give it a little shot of color. It's supposed to give it a light value. You can use this color on the seeds on the pumpkin. On the hydrangea, try not to paint hydrangea. Instead, it's a lost edge. You're giving just the impression that there's going to be little clumps of flower. So I make squiggly shapes in patterns of 4 and 3 together. So that way they look like they're attached in the middle. And only towards the top. The ones on the bottom are lost and blended. All right, as you're working around, we've pretty much put that taupe everywhere you can find to put it. I used it as the highlight color on the bowl. So I don't want that highlight to be too intense. I want it to be more intense on the apples. So I'm using the taupe color on the edge of the bowl. If your highlight gets too thick on the edge of the bowl, you can come back in with a brown or something darker and reassert the edge of the bowl. On the hydrangeas, a beautiful trick with the hydrangeas is once you have a reasonable facsimile, then negative space paint some of those darks back in. That'll help break it up. If you're having a problem with it being too much of a pattern, use those negative space shapes, those sky holes in the hydrangea to break it up, make it less perfect, less pattern. All right, we need to put in some highlights. So I'm going to the next color. I think this is the last on the twos. This is a light orange, very light orange. So this is the lightest orange. This is the remaining color on the pumpkin seeds. And I'm going to use it as a highlight on the pumpkin itself. So only use that light orange on the pumpkin. For the other highlights, which are mainly on the apples, I'm using the pure white. So I'm starting with the patty pan squash up top, putting a highlight on the same part of the lobe. There's three highlights facing the, the light. Then on the apples, I'm following the edge of light on each apple. It's sort of like the donut squash we had last week, where the light's coming from above, it's going to hit the outer edge and then the inner curve of the stem. So pay attention to that. Skip the hydrangeas, don't put any highlights on the hydrangea. All right, last touch, the stems. You want to get those stems in place. I had sketched them in previously, but they got painted over in the process. All right, so as you start to finish up, let's keep in mind some of the lost and found edges that are important here. So the most important found edges are where the pumpkin overlaps the bowl. The wedges of the pumpkin, the top parts, are sharp and found. The seeds are lost edges. There's a few lines, but you don't need to be able to see every individual seed. The edge of the rind up against the cat shadow is a found edge. Now, if you're still seeing a lot of your pastel paper tooth in the flesh of that pumpkin, you can lightly touch it with a finger. At this point, you might have built up enough layers that it disappears. Notice that between the two wedges of pumpkin, there's some yellowish light that separates the wedge that's behind the one in front. It helps to push it back and pull the one in front forward. So use those lost and found edges to help create that sense of perspective in this. The hydrangeas are all lost edges. They're behind the pumpkin, so you don't really see much of them. There's just a little sticking out. And it's more texture than anything else. Don't let it become a major player in the still life. It's not that important. The same for the vase. The vase is not that important. There's some beautiful reflective qualities and light to it, but overall, it's not a major player. Now, the apples are all major players, and they need to have light in a donut shape on the top. Same for the patty pan squash. It's got a lot of lights, 3 highlights facing up towards the top. Lastly, the edge of this bowl is crucial. Make sure you have a crisp highlight along that edge. Everything on the bottom of the bowl is lost. It is not important to see the bottom of the bowl. You can just hint at it, give us the impression that there's some underlying shape to it. But don't show the edges of the bowl or the bottom of the bowl. Never show what you can't see. And that's it. I'm not going to do much more to it tonight. I think it's done. I really love the intense layered color on this. I can't wait to see what you've done. So when you're ready, give me a little wave. Right.
I will just say, I know I need more time.
A little further down, we can see the apples, but not the bowl, so, or the pumpkin. A little further down. You know, a little more time, and I think you would make everything way too perfect.
That is my fault.
So the pumpkin seeds are very much a pattern, and they're fighting against the light. So you don't want to have them all the same color and all over. So towards the top part of the wedge of the pumpkin, there's a lot more dark to it. Towards the bottom part on the wedges, on the
Yeah.
wedge in the back, there's more dark to it there. I would break that up a bit. The bowl is beautiful. The hydrangeas are beautiful. The apples are okay. They're a little too blended.
Okay. I sort of got lost there, so I can work on that.
Okay. And on the reflections on the glass, make sure that they correlate exactly to the shape. So I'm seeing an awful lot of blue towards the center of that vase that I
Okay.
didn't see in the reference. And
Okay.
the reddish orange color,
Not at all.
yeah, I don't see it, but there's some linear shapes that start at the edge of the bowl and snake up the side of that glass. Orange,
Okay.
yellow, and light orange, and I would get those in, but that's it. You don't need all of the reflection.
Okay. Thank
Okay,
you.
good job, my friend. Beautifully done.
I think I do better when I pause you.
My husband would like a mute button, I'm sure. But you know, there is such a thing as having too much time, Ron. Too much
Yeah,
time opens the door for perfectionism. So be careful with that. You know, try to do it. I push you guys to move quickly through it so that you're gasping for breath the whole time and you don't have time to get too caught up in detail. All right, whenever anyone else is ready, oh, Jean, you're ready. Let's take a look. Hi, Jean.
Hi. I know I'm not usually one of the early ones, but
That's wonderful. Oh, Jean, you're really nailing this still life. You know, you started off strong. Your first drawing was very strong, and you kept your values the whole way through. I like the shapes of the apples, the, the pumpkin wedges. The only thing I'm not real crazy about is that glass base. You might want to spend a couple of minutes with it. You don't have to do it tonight, but maybe a couple of minutes to get some of the darks in the center and some of the reflection.
sounds good.
Beautiful work.
Thank you.
Whenever anyone else is ready, just give me a little wave. Okay, Karen and then Jackie. Hey, Karen.
Hi. Oops.
Hi. Ah, Karen, you are so painterly. When you use pastel, you never cease to amaze me. I love that. I absolutely love that. So this is like an impressionist version of this still life. I really appreciate how you handled it. The hydrangea is perfect. The grass is perfect. Don't touch a thing. You're muted for some reason.
I was really going fast. This was a lot of composition for me.
Good, good. Yeah, there was a lot to it, but
Yeah.
it's definitely going to get you ready for next week. Next week is a little more complicated than this week. What I really love the work you do, and I think you might work well under pressure. So give yourself some positive pressure when you're working. Give yourself a deadline. Don't take forever to do a painting.
Okay.
Longer is not necessarily better. Just so people know, I'm going to put myself in the spotlight real quick. This is going to be next week. Again, let me get you out of the spotlight, Karen. Okay, so next week we are doing this very classic old still life. So I'll be sending you a picture. It's going to be a little bit more complicated. Lost and found edges are less clear than the previous two still lifes, and there's no subtractive in this. Okay. Let's see. Jackie, I believe you were ready before, and then BJ, you'll be after her. Hey,
Oh.
Jackie.
Hi. So anyway, no, I just sort of need to stop for tonight.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
What?
Jackie, the highlights on the still life on the apples are to die for. And the intensity of the color on those pumpkin wedges is spot on. Don't touch
Yay!
it. Refrain from
Yay!
doing any blending at all. That's gorgeous. Add this.
Thanks.
Really gorgeous. Don't touch
Thanks.
Awesome.
Thanks.
it.
Thanks
You
lots.
promise me you won't touch.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah. Yes, yes. Okay, I'll try. I won't touch it.
Uh-huh.
I give up.
Okay.
So thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
Good. Good work.
Okay.
All right, VJ, you are in the spotlight.
Uh,
Whoa.
Oh,
Okay. VJ, the glass caught my attention first. How you handled that vase. The top of the apples are overly highlighted, and we've lost the form because of it.
I lost the form totally. This looks more like a tomato. So
Mhm.
I was going back in trying to find them again.
Well, don't try to find them with the light. Try to find them with dark. It's the dark that will
Okay.
describe the form better.
Will do.
And I wouldn't do it tonight, but maybe tomorrow, a few minutes reasserting the form, and you're done with it.
Okay.
The wedges look good. Hydrangea's good. I love your glass uh, vase. I think that worked well.
yeah.
Really well.
Wonderful.
Good
See,
work,
I was
VJ.
thinking these were watercress.
Okay, well, yours could be.
I went, uh-oh. I gotta rethink.
Rethink that.
Okay.
Vivian, are you ready?
Not really, but
Oh,
the
you're
theme here is I needed more time.
Wow. Yeah.
Vivian, I disagree that you need more time.
Oh God.
What are you not finished with? What else would you work on if you hadn't?
The inside of the pumpkins, the
Yeah.
seeds and the texture
Yeah.
in there. Yeah. Just needed a few more minutes there.
All right. So sit on your hands tonight and revisit that tomorrow.
Okay, I
It's
will.
easy. I'm afraid that if you go back into it, it's going to become really patterny. So
Okay.
what you have now is beautiful. It's impressionistic, and it doesn't look like a pattern.
All right.
The apples are beautiful too. Remember, make your pastel shapes, your marks, follow the shape of the apple when you're painting.
Okay.
So you're starting your marks at the center, pulling them up and over the side, just like you would with the paintbrush. And that patty pan squash steals the show.
Yeah, turned out nice. All right, thank
Beautiful
you.
work, my friend. Thank you. Nicely done. All right. I think I got everyone. Did I miss anybody? Doesn't look like it. All right. This was a complicated still life. It really was. There's a lot of shapes, and the way the light hit, it left a lot of interpretation, and you guys handled it well. The most important concept from this series is lost and found edges and letting the edge behind define and describe the edge that's in front. So you see that quite a bit with the wedges of the pumpkin and how the apples are placed one in front of the other. So good work, everyone. I will be sending you a fun homework assignment. It's a little different palette as well. So if you have
Oh.
time to do it over the next week, I'd love to see it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right.
How'd your
Thanks,
workshop
everyone.
go? How'd your workshop go today?
It was terrific. It was exhausting, but it was terrific. Thank you.
Oh, good. Good.
Yeah, I'll be doing more there.
That's where I went to
It's always,
school. So yeah, that's
woo,
Gainesville.
yeah,
I
and
taught,
the hard,
I was on the faculty for 21 years there.
In Gainesville at UF?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, my
that's
dad
too
was on the
funny.
faculty there. We are so Gator in our house.
Yes.
And what did you teach?
Special
Well,
education.
Oh, nice. Anyway, yeah, you go there, Shonda.
Yeah.
yes, ma'am. I sure will. It's wonderful to be among other teachers
It's
too. That's awesome.
yeah, it's a
All
good
right.
place.
You all have a wonderful night, and I'll see you next
Night.
week.
Okay, bye.
Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.